Hey guys, this is Bruce, and we're going to be talking about developing a plan of action in Milestone, a POAM. We're going to talk about the who, what, when, where, and why of POAM. This is really an introduction. I'm going to develop a course that includes every aspect of risk management framework. I used to teach this stuff, so I know a lot about it. If you're interested in that course that I'm developing right now, it's going to be released. I'm aiming for about beginning of June. It's very comprehensive. June 2019. So if you happen to be watching this video after June 2019, you can expect the course to be delivered on this site right here. This is my site. I'm just going to go ahead and let me see if I can get rid of my head here so you can see it. Or maybe I'll just make it smaller. I don't know if you can see that. But this is my course right here. And there's the link below, that little scroll bar right there. It says securitycompliance.thinkific.com. You go there, you can sign up for free. There's other courses as well. Here's some of the examples of the courses. I got one free downloadable for risk management framework, and 837 where they talk about the transition from the Rev 1 to Rev 2. Talk a little bit about that. Very entry level, very high level stuff. Then we got a course for getting into cybersecurity and how to get up to 6 figures. I talk about my methods of doing it. I've been doing it for quite some time. Talk about 853, and then I've got other courses as well. Some stuff for free, some stuff for purchase, and I'm gonna have a very comprehensive risk management framework that will include a walkthrough, a complete walkthrough of how to do plan of action and milestone and other documentation you need for risk management framework 837. Let's get into this. I'm gonna go ahead and walk you guys through how to do this. I think what I need to do is go ahead and get rid of my face right here. Okay, there we go. And right now, where I'm at here is, whoops. Right now, where we're at is, this is the FedRAMP.gov, and this is, if you didn't know about this, is a pretty good site if you're doing cloud-based systems that reach into the cloud with some sort of online service. Things like mobile devices as a service, which is very popular these days, and other things like that as a service type stuff that you can do. And this walks you through the FedRAMP process for that. But this also applies to other systems as well. So that's why I decided to come to this site. This is very good. This breaks it all down. So we're going to walk through this. I'm going to tell you, first of all, why do you have a plan of action in Milestone? So plan of action in Milestone is for, let's put this in context. Let's say that you have a system, right? And that system, you've put all the security controls that you can on that system. So security controls, we're talking about things like, we're talking about multi-factor authentication if you need that on your system. We're talking about making sure the logs are on. We're talking about making sure that there's a pop-up that comes on and tells people, hey, you're entering a federal government or a State Department system or whatever, you know, like a little pop-up, a banner is what it's called. But let's say that there's certain controls that you can't do. Let's say that you can't put on the event, you can't turn on event logs on your system. You have a Windows system and event logs can't be turned on because the system hard drive is too full. This happens from time to time, by the way. It's too full and you can't delete any data because all the data that's currently on there is absolutely important. You can't remove it and you can't turn on event logs because it will stop the system, right? Because event logs, what happens is those event logs are saved on the local C drive or D drive or wherever you have them pointed to. And let's say that your organization can't currently afford a network attached storage device or some other device to collect those logs, because you could send them to somewhere else, right? In a case in which you cannot put those logs on, so you can't meet that security control immediately, you would have a plan of action for that. Meaning, no, we're not doing it right now, but our plan is to put those in the future, and here's how we're going to do those and when. When we're going to do it, who's going to do it, how we're going to do it, and here's the weaknesses. That's what a plan of action in Milestone explains. You'll document the name of the system, right? So you'd fill out the name of the system here, and this form is arbitrary. Many organizations have many different types of forms, but what's important is that you have the who, the what, the when it's going to be met, who's all involved, who are the stakeholders, who are the points of contacts, what is the device, how do you identify the device, what's the weakness, all of these things, the who, what, when, where, and why is what you need on every plan of action and milestone. And in the course, what I'll do is I'll walk you through this. I'll actually fill one of these out and show you different types of plan of action milestones. But for the purposes of this, I want to just give you kind of a quick overview of what you need in any plan of action and milestone. So you could get by on just this alone. So in this configuration here, what they've done is you put all your information here below. So right here they have unique identifier, plan of action ID. So plan of action ID is because especially in large environments, you might have 15 or 20 or 100 different plan of action and milestones, depending on how large your organization is. And then you wanted to put what control aren't you meeting? So we said we couldn't put on the event logs, right? So that would actually be AU. Let me just kind of fill in a little bit of this. This will be AU-3 or 4 because we can't turn it on. And this is event logs. So weakness, we would explain what the weakness is. We can't turn on event logs. So we type in here, cannot turn on event logs. Maybe we would just put event logs. And then in this next one, we'd put what we can't do. We can't turn on the event logs for whatever reason. You put that in weakness description. And it tells you here, description of the weakness and other information. Then in the next one, we say how it was discovered. So we didn't discover this through Nessus. This would be observation. We know because we observed that we couldn't turn it on, and we know why. So we put observation here. Or you could also put discovered during an annual assessment. However you discovered it, you'd put it here. So yeah, so right here they give you some examples. They say Nessus, Qualys, Web Inspect, or assessment report. So we'd probably put assessment report here, or annual assessment, or something like that. Then they're saying weakness source identifier. In this case, we don't have it. This is like if it was discovered with Nessus and Nessus has identifiers, you would put that there. And ours, it would be NA because we don't have plugin ID or anything like that. So let's kind of go through the main things. I don't want to make this one too long. This is really just an introduction. And like I said, in the course, I'm gonna go super deep into this. A whole video with downloadables and samples that you can download and all that kind of stuff. But check this out. What we really need is we need a point of contact. So where would we put the point of contact? Is here. So the thing about plan of action and milestone is you want to be able to give this to the decision makers, and they will have the confidence and the assurance that they know who to contact when this goes off track, or if it doesn't get done on time, or if it gets done early. They want to know who is it that we need to contact, who's handling this, right? Who's the main person. Normally you give this to a subject matter expert, or the person who is solely responsible for the technical aspects of getting this thing fixed, right? So that's who your point of contact is going to be. The other thing that you really want to do in a plan of action and milestone is put the schedule. The schedule is super important. I mean, that's why it's a milestone. You need a date of when you are going to have this thing complete, right? So what you don't want to do with this is give them a date that you cannot meet. You always want to put it where you can meet, and then you want to give yourself a little bit more time to do it. Then you want to put like a breakdown of the milestone. What do you plan to do? What are your plans? Step 1, we've discovered the plan on this day. Step 2, we're going to buy a NAS. Step 3, we're going to install the NAS, and then we're going to configure it so that all of the data goes to that NAS. So you want to have like step 1, step 2, step 3. So that they know. And then you also want to have dates of when you're going to hit each one of those milestones. Any changes that happen, like if you've ever done IT at all, you know that sometimes you're going to miss your mark sometimes, right? There's other people involved, there's other organizations. Maybe you couldn't get the NAS in time, maybe the NetApp that you ordered didn't come on time. And so there's going to be changes to the milestone, and that's where you would identify those here. Another thing that you really want to make sure you put in is the status. Like and I'm not seeing that here, but you want to have like a running status of where you are typically. they have a status date, but I don't see like where you would put the current status. You could probably put it here in comments, but normally all the organizations I've been in, you have a status column where you put in like what is happening right now. Because usually milestones, when you're talking about a plan of action and milestones, you're going to meet with a group of people and they're going to say, okay, Bruce, where are you at in the plan of action and milestones? You said that you on the 5th of May, you're supposed to be on the second milestone or the third milestone or whatever it is, right? And so you would have another status and say, okay, on the 5th of May we missed our milestone because we didn't get the NAS in time, or yes, we just got the NAS and we're configuring it now. So anyway, they don't have that here, but that's normally what you would have. Let me see if there's anything else that's super important. A couple things that come up, and this is something I would get more into when we do the course. I'm going to put this in the course. Is false positives and risk-based decisions, because sometimes you actually cannot actually meet the security control. Like in that case, you can document it into a plan of action and milestone stating that here's what we did to try to fix the event logs. We couldn't turn it on because we don't have a NAS at this time. We can't have a NAS because this is a closed system. You know, you wouldn't have a reason why you couldn't meet the plan of action and milestone, but you're showing due diligence. But if you really can't reach it, if you can't do the plan of action, if you cannot fix the problem in a certain period of time, then a plan of action and milestone is not going to help you. You need a risk-based decision, and that's where you basically document what's happened and why you can't meet it, and then you would provide that justification and all the technical details to the decision makers. And then there's also something called a false positive. A false positive is where you would, risk-based decision is not here. I had it on risk adjustment, but yeah. So false positive is where there is, let's say you had a scan. You scan your network and it's saying that you guys have a port open. Let's say it's port 60, right? And it's saying that you have this port 60 open, but when you actually go back on that system and see port 60 is closed, the system is giving you false information. So it's identifying something that is not actually in fact there. And so that's actually something different. But a lot of organizations that I've worked in, they still create a plan of action and milestone to show due diligence, to show, hey, on this day we saw that there was this vulnerability that was detected via a vulnerability scanner. However, upon closer examination, we determined that it was a false positive because port 60 is actually closed, and here's the evidence of closure. It is a false positive. So yeah, that's a whole nother form that you could create for your organization. So that's it, guys. If you want more details on a plan of action and milestone, how to do it, you can actually go to this site right here. This is a pretty good resource for you. You don't have to buy my course. My course is extremely going to be very comprehensive. But if you just want more information, here's a great resource right here. It's fedramp.gov. Go ahead and check that out. That's been it. I'm going to start doing more risk management framework to get you guys. So I'm getting a lot of questions about risk management framework, particularly about things like this plan of action and milestone. But I just wanted to give you a quick reference that you can use to and look, this is a downloadable. This whole thing that I was just looking at is a downloadable that you can actually go and use, and they got tons of these on the internet. What I'm going to do in the course is actually provide a sample and walk through a couple of these and show you how it's done and put it in context and everything, so there'll be a little bit added bonus here. But here's an additional thing that you can use here. This breaks every aspect of the plan of action and milestone down, particularly for FedRAMP if you're interested in that. And that's it for this video, guys, and I hope this was helpful to you.